But one that we tend to get a lot of questions about is really around handling meetings. So if you think about the whole communicating and positioning yourself as a leader in communication, and one of the things, and I know we have several people who kind of fall into this bucket, and I've done it in the past as well, is the idea of how do you contribute to meetings when you're normally that person who is more quiet, you may be more observant, maybe a little more timid, and you want to be able to contribute, but at the same time, because others are typically speaking up first, you don't want to sound redundant and just repeating what they're saying. So how do you handle that? How do you be able to contribute to that conversation so that your voice is heard?
You always want to contribute. In fact, you're in a client-facing arena. So whether you're having an internal meeting or especially an external meeting with the client, those clients are watching and they want to see who speaks up and who actually has something to offer. And I understand that we have more introverted people, maybe even shy people, because introversion is really about where you derive your energy. It's not about how outgoing you may be. I've met some, and in fact, I know some introverted people who are performing artists. I happen to be one of them. So yeah, I sit on the line of extroversion and introversion, but most of these creatives that you're going to meet are introverts. So what do you do for your extrovert and your introvert, and also for your shy folks? You have to do planning. That means ahead of your meeting, you have to decide what you're going to say before you go into the room. And most often, I like to ask my clients, what insightful question can you ask that will lead the conversation to a higher status of learning? You don't always have to make a comment to be considered smart. Ask a very smart question. Some of that requires active listening, because you may not know exactly what question you want to ask until after you've heard people speak. So I would say that have a topic area that you're most interested in hearing more about going into the meeting. And as you listen actively in that meeting, make sure you're jotting down what you might be able to ask as a follow-up to something that's already been said.
That's a good point. Actually, it makes you think one of the things that we've often struggled with internally is meeting prep and meeting planning. So somebody sends an invite out. It has potentially a very vague topic in it, or maybe a little more specific topic, but no real context, no real agenda. And I think that's, if we think about how we can support our coworkers in being able to really speak up and plan for that, having meeting materials, having an agenda, letting people know what they're walking into helps them get their head around the topic and go, oh yes, I should ask about this, or I should make sure we think about this. And we think about that so often in terms of time management, but it really also is how do we get the most value out of the people that we're interacting with by letting them prepare ahead of time.
And I think you just raised a crucial word there, value. Everyone, even if it's not your meeting that you are leading, everyone should come to the table asking yourself, what value can I add to this meeting? That will make the meeting on the whole more valuable, but it will also allow people to see you as someone who has something of value to contribute. So ask yourself that question, but then also I want to remind each and every one of you, no matter your title, absolutely no matter your title, you have the right to have executive presence, just like the person next to you. Executive presence is free. And all we're talking about is character, style, and substance. And when I say style, it's not necessarily how you dress, although first impressions are important, but it is the way you deliver when you communicate. And it's also the way that you work. Character means, of course, that you come with a high standard of ethics, character, style, and then substance means that you know your stuff. So I need for each and every one of you to make sure that as you're going into these meetings, it doesn't matter if you're going to be just that square on the Zoom call. It means that you need to contribute something of value, no matter who you are.